Dear students, in this section we are going to learn the application of Gauss law, especially for calculation of electric field due to certain charge distribution. So here we are going to learn applying Gauss law. Let us write Gauss law. It is the closed surface integral E dot ds equal to Q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. You know, this symbol is the closed surface integral. This E is the electric field, that is the net electric field due to the all charge present in the medium, and Q enclosed is the charge enclosed by closed surface. To use Gauss law, we need to choose a Gaussian surface over which the surface integral can be simplified and electric field can be calculated. To solve this value E, we should able to choose a Gaussian surface, that is the closed surface, such that the integral can be solved easily. Let us discuss some guidelines for selection of the Gaussian surface. First and foremost point, we have the closed surface integral E dot ds. If we want to solve this integral easily, we should select a Gaussian surface such that the value of E should be constant over the surface, right? So first point is this, or we can say Gaussian surface must be chosen such that the E has the same value at each and every point on that surface, right? It will make the calculation of E easy. Now second point, the Gaussian surface must be chosen such that E is known to be either parallel or perpendicular to each and every point of the surface. So second point is very important point for calculating the electric field. In this way, we can say if suppose E is parallel to ds, it means the angle between the electric field vector and area vector is 0 degree. So cos 0 equal to 1. So here we can write here E dot ds equal to E multiplied by ds. Now come to the perpendicular case. If E is perpendicular to ds, that means E dot ds equal to 0, because cos 90 equal to 0, dot product will be 0. So here we can write E dot ds equal to 0. We will observe almost all the parameters, all the requirement will cover under these 2 points. Suppose some point are not covered under these 2 category, so we can select a Gaussian surface such that electric field can be 0 over the portion of the Gaussian surface. So we can select certain points on the Gaussian surface such that electric field may be 0 on that point, right? So these are the 3 criteria for selection of the Gaussian surface. We can simple guideline for the spherical and cylindrical charge distribution. If charge distribution is spherical, choose the Gaussian surface as a concentric sphere. Spherical charge distribution will occur in case of the spherical charge uniformly distributed over the sphere, or hollow sphere charge is distributed over the surface, right? So in case of the spherical symmetry, we choose Gaussian surface as a concentric sphere. Now if charge distribution is having the cylindrical symmetry, we choose Gaussian surface as a coaxial cylinder. Coaxial cylinder symmetry will occur in case of the line distribution of the charge. If charge is distributed uniformly over the line, we can have the cylindrical symmetry. Now one very important point. We can evaluate the integral in Gauss law only if the Gaussian surface and charge distribution has the symmetrical property. If charge distribution does not have the sufficient symmetrical property, Gauss law is not useful for determining the electric field due to that charge distribution. Now we discuss the all parameter for selection of the Gaussian surface. Let us come to learn the steps for calculating the electric field using again Gauss law. Now first point, suppose if you are trying to find the electric field at a certain point, that point should lie on the Gaussian surface. So we can say if you are trying to find the electric field at a particular point, your point must lie on the Gaussian surface. This is the first requirement. Suppose you have the cylindrical charge distribution and you want to calculate the electric field away from or inside the cylinder. So we should select a Gaussian surface passing through that point. Now let us write the Gauss law again. We can write Gauss law as closed surface integral E dot ds equal to Q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. Now, we have selected the Gaussian surface. We can say after selection of the Gaussian surface, we can now place this value of E outside the integral. And if we place this value outside the integral, we will left with the value integral outside and closed surface integral will be with ds only, like this. This ds is the area of the Gaussian surface over which we are integrating. Now we can write the Gauss law in corrected form. What we can do? We can write E outside the integral and this integral will be only with ds. So this is E multiplied by integral ds equal to Q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. Now you can observe here, if we able to find this value, we can find the value of E easily, right? And Q enclosed is very easy to calculate. It is the charge enclosed by selected Gaussian surface. Now let us do the application of Gauss law first for the charge sphere which is uniformly distributed, which is having the uniformly distributed charge density. So let us take first a uniformly charged sphere. So here we are going to take one solid sphere of radius capital R and uniform charge density rho Coulomb per meter cube. So let us make this sphere here, capital R radius and density rho. First we will discuss the calculation of electric field outside the sphere. So let us take one point P here outside the sphere and the distance of point P from the center of this sphere is small r. So we have written small r is greater than capital R. If you observe the charge distribution, this is having the spherical symmetry. Or in case of the spherical symmetry, we choose Gauss surface as a hollow sphere of radius small r. Why? Because if you observe the two guidelines, first guidelines, the electric field should be same at each and every point on the Gaussian surface. So if we select a hollow sphere passing through point P, we can say the electric field should be constant over the surface. Second guidelines, electric field should be parallel or perpendicular to the Gaussian surface. So here if we draw a Gaussian surface, a spherical hollow sphere passing through P, we can observe here the electric field should be parallel to the each and every point of the area vector of the Gaussian surface. That's why we should select here Gaussian surface as a hollow sphere of radius small r. This is the Gaussian surface. Let us find the patch on the Gaussian surface. Let us take certain patch. Before placing the patch, let us draw the pattern of the electric field over the Gaussian surface. You can observe again the electric field at each and every point is parallel with the area vector. You can observe at each and every point this is the parallel with the area vector. So it will make our calculation of this integral E dot ds closed surface integral easy. So one thing we can do, we can write the Gauss law again, that's the left hand side of the Gauss law, and we can observe E vector and ds vector is parallel each and every point. So we can write E dot ds equal to E multiplied by ds. And again, because of the symmetry property, we can say E is same at each and every point on the Gaussian surface. That's why we can take E outside the integral. If we take E outside the integral, we will left with the term ds closed integral. This calculation is very easy and this is nothing but area of the Gaussian surface, that is the area of the sphere. So we can write here E multiplied by 4 pi r square. Again write the Gauss law, that is closed surface integral E dot ds equal to Q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. We have calculated the left hand side term. Now come to the right hand side term, that is Q enclosed. Q enclosed will be nothing but that is the total charge of the sphere. If total charge of the sphere is capital Q, so we can write here what E multiplied by 4 pi r square equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. And now we can rearrange for getting the value of E. Now we can write E equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q divided by r square, right? This is the electric field at point P, that is outside the sphere. Now, let us make the relationship between q and charge density. Because charge is distributed uniformly over the sphere, so we can write here q equal to rho multiplied by 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now we can substitute this value of q in this equation. So this equation will become E equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught rho multiplied by 4 by 3 pi r cube divided by r square. Now you can observe this 4 pi and 4 pi will get cancelled. Now we will left with the term E equal to rho multiplied by r cube divided by 3 epsilon naught r square, right? You can observe here this electric field is inversely proportional to r square, correct? Now come to some point inside the sphere. So let us make this sphere again, and we are interested to calculate electric field at any point inside. So let us make point P here, and distance of this point from the center is small r. Again we can observe we have the spherical symmetry, and this spherical symmetry is centered at the center of the sphere. So the Gaussian surface should pass through point P and enclose the center of the sphere. We can say again the Gaussian surface is hollow sphere of radius small r. This is the Gaussian surface. Now let us make the pattern of electric field lines. You can observe electric field lines are crossing our Gaussian surface normally at each and every point. If we take certain patches on this surface, let us take this patch, we can observe electric field is crossing this surface normally, and if we draw the area vector of this patch, we can observe this area vector and electric field vector is parallel to each other. Similarly, if we select any point on the Gaussian surface, here also we can observe the same situation, and even any other point we can observe. So let us write this Gauss law equation, that is the left hand side of the Gauss law equation again, that is closed surface integral E dot ds, and we have observed here E vector and ds vector is parallel. That means cos of angle between E vector and ds vector is 0 degree. So this term can be written as E dot ds equal to E multiplied by ds. Again use the symmetry property. What? Because of the symmetry property, we can simply say this E is constant over the surface, that is having the same value over the surface. So we can write this E outside the integral. So we will left with the term E closed surface integral ds. As we done in the previous case, this closed surface integral ds is nothing but area of the Gaussian surface. So this can be written as E multiplied by 4 pi r square. Now come to the right hand side part of the Gauss equation, that is a q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. So let us write Gaussian equation again. This is the Gaussian equation, and we have calculated this part. Now we are calculating this part. This is the charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface. So we should care about this volume of the charge. We know charge density is uniform and charge density is rho. If we multiply rho with this volume, we can find the charge enclosed. So now we can write charge enclosed equal to rho multiplied by 4 by 3 pi small r cube. This is the charge enclosed. Now we can substitute this value in the right hand side part of the equation, and we can substitute this value in the left hand side part. So we can write now E multiplied by 4 pi r square equal to rho 4 by 3 pi r cube divided by epsilon naught, this one. Now here we can observe this 4 pi r square will get cancelled with the 4 pi r square, and we will left with a small r here. Now we can rearrange to get the value of E. Now E will be equal to rho r divided by 3 epsilon naught. We can observe here this value. that is E is directly proportional to small r. But outside any point, we have observed the value of E is inversely proportional to small r square. So let us write these value again for electric field. Inside small r is less than capital R, E equal to rho small r divided by 3 epsilon naught. Linear distribution. We can say electric field will vary linearly. At the center of a sphere it will be 0, and at the surface of the sphere it should be maximum. Now suppose we are given the value of total charge instead of charge density, then what we will do? We will substitute the value of rho in term of Q. So this rho should be equal to total charge divided by volume of the sphere, and volume of the sphere is 4 by 3 pi capital R cube. So we can write now E equal to Q divided by 4 by 3 pi capital R cube multiplied by small r and overall divided by 3 epsilon naught. Now we can rearrange this. We can now cancel out this 3 and 3, and we can write here 4 by 3 capital Q small r divided by r. Again we can observe here we have the linear variation as we got the charge density formula. Now for any point outside the sphere, we have calculated in the first part of the derivation, that is small r is greater than capital R, and this value was equal to rho r capital R cube divided by 3 epsilon naught r square. And in term of capital Q, this value was equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by small r square. And you can observe this formula is same as the point charge placed at the center of the spherical charge distribution. So we got the value of the electric field inside as well as outside. Let us draw the graphs, and we will draw the graph of electric field inside as well as outside. So let us make the axis here. This line, horizontal line, will represent the radius distance, and in vertical line, that's the y-axis, will represent the electric field. And we know the electric field at the center of the sphere was 0, and inside it is having the linear variation. First draw the value for inside. This is the linear variation, and at this point this value is maximum. So we can write here inside the sphere small r is less than capital R. This is the linear variation, and this is the pattern of the graph. Now come to the point outside the sphere. We have seen the value of electric field outside is capital R cube divided by 3 epsilon naught r square. So here we can say rho is constant, capital R is also constant, and 3 epsilon naught is also constant. So we can say E is inversely proportional to r square. So the graph should be inverse square nature like this, right? This is the variation of electric field outside the sphere, right? These are the graphs.
Dear aspirants, Cengage India has launched the new edition of our JEE Advanced Physics books. Please visit www.cengage.co.in to buy a copy. You can also buy the books from Amazon or Flipkart.